Corey Swergis here for Slap News with Bryan Dozier. How you doing, my man? Coming up, Power Slap number 2, less than a week away. How excited are you?
Man, I couldn't be any more excited. It's a dream come true, man. It's a real dream come true.
I know, man. It's felt like an eternity since Power Slap number 1. How long have you known about this match and you put pen to paper on that contract to be able to go up against Austin Turpen, Power Slap number 2?
You know, it's funny that you asked me that. I'm glad that you said that as the first question because when we were in Vegas the last time, you can ask everybody that if you've interviewed them yet or ask them about it. Cole, Young, Cody, everybody knew. I said after this fight, that's the guy that I'm going to have to fight. I don't know what. It's like something just clicked in my brain. It was like, you're going to fight him. So I've been mentally preparing for this since then. As soon as they called me, I don't even know how long it was after that. It wasn't long. As soon as they called me, she was like, hey, we got to fight with. As soon as she said the first syllable of his name, I was like, I'll sign it. We're good. Bet. Let's go. Because I knew it was coming.
Absolutely, man. I know the first time around, you're going through the motions, getting in there, getting ready for fight week, going through the medicals, the weigh-ins, the rule meeting, all that stuff. How is that experience going to help prepare you? Obviously, Austin was in the same boat. He went through it at the same time. But how is that going to help you this time around when your boots hit, that soil in Vegas? Is it going to be any different?
I don't think it'll be any different. They run a amazingly smooth and tight ship, like amazingly. Once your feet hit the ground, you know what's going on. Like if you don't know what's going on, you're not paying attention, or you're just there to have fun, or you're just there to enjoy stuff that's outside of Power Slap or whatever you might do. But you know what the deal is once you get there. And I came up in a military family just off of one of the biggest Army bases in the world, Fort Bragg, and I'm used to that. So that it just meshes with my DNA. So it's going to be good to go, smooth. Everything's going to be good.
Yeah, totally, man. I'll ask you one more question outside of the fight, but I know that you were an avid football player. High school, did you play a bit of college as well?
I did. So actually, I never played in high school. And now that I actually get to tell this a little bit, I'll make it short. But when my brother was a high school football player. He was the big recruit, all the cameras and flashy and all of that. And I kind of wanted to find my own lane. So I went into track. And track is what got me into college. But when I got into college, something just clicked in my brain again. And I was like, hey, man, you should try football. Why not? You're able-bodied. Why not try it? So I ended up calling the coach. He had me come into his office for a meeting. I said, hey, I want to earn my spot. So I actually walked on in college for never playing football a day in my life. I actually lied to my coach. I'm not going to lie. I told him I had been playing all in high school, but I never played a day in my life. Walked onto the team and earned my spot.
Crazy. What division was that?
So that was D3. So it was tough because we couldn't have scholarships. So people call me crazy, but I ended up walking onto a team and never having the opportunity to win a scholarship or any of that. I walked onto a team for the love of the game and to learn and to grow because I wanted to be a coach. So I was like, I want that experience playing football. So it was all on my own dime, all on my own expense.
Totally. And how did that experience prepare you to get into slap fighting?
It definitely taught me a whole new level of aggression and work, and I would say targeted aggression, like not just being reckless about wherever I go, but a way to not bottle up what you have, but to direct it at something and make it productive. Like we'll come out on the football field having awful days, all of us, but you can have an awful day and then an awful practice, or you can have an awful day and then a great practice because you had an awful day. Like it's just, there's a little bit of give and take there. So I learned how to roll with the punches. I learned very strict regiments. You got to be up at 5:45 a.m. If you're there at 5:50, you're late, even though the time is 6, So I learned how to adhere to strict regimens and rules, and it helped me prepare in many ways.
Awesome, my man. What have you been doing now since you signed that contract in regards to your training, both mentally and physically, to be ready for this, which I don't know if it is or not, but tell me, is this the biggest moment of your life?
It definitely is. If you had asked me that before my first fight, I would have said that is, well, we know how that
Mm-hmm.
went. Didn't get to fight. Fighter dropped out and all that. So this is definitely the
Mm-hmm.
biggest moment in my life because this is going to be the chance where I get to prove to a lot of people who are wondering what I have or what I have, like what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
This is my chance to prove to them what it is and what it's going to be for the foreseeable future.
Totally. So what about the training side? What are you doing to prepare every day?
So training wise, me and Ryan, we get together. Ryan, the king, the guy, we get together. We talk about a lot of different things. But one thing I really love is that the community itself within the
Mm-hmm.
fighters is so welcoming for me that I can ask anybody anything at any time. I could text Dwayne Crespo six
Mm-hmm.
hours from now at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and be like, hey man, like I got a question about such and such, and he will answer it just like that. If he's awake, he'll answer it. Cole Young is another one. That man is a professional in every sense of the word. If I wanted to ask him a question, he would help me. But then you have guys like Dorian Perez. That guy's a boss, but he also looks out for his people. So when I have
Mm-hmm.
questions, he makes sure that I understand it fully. So it's just have using what's at my what I have in my hands and my expense to use and grow from that I appreciate definitely. That's what I've been leaning on a lot of
Mm-hmm.
physically, you know, working on accuracy, working on strength, working on stability through the joints. One thing I knew doing track is that you need stability through all your joints if you're swinging your arm,
Mm-hmm.
not just your hand, not just your wrist, but stability in your elbow, stability in your shoulder, in your back, your lats, stuff like that.
Totally, my man. Absolutely. Definitely important for sure. I need to give you 1 second, man, because I don't think we ever actually got to talk about it. But, now looking back at Power Southern One, going out there in Vegas, going through the whole entire thing, not having your match happen, how does it actually sit with you now, looking back? And do you want to say anything, uncensored in regards to how that whole thing went down?
Looking back on that, I will say that I want to say I'm glad that I met everybody that I met. We had an
Mm-hmm.
amazing time in and outside of the Apex and of the arena and everything. That was an amazing experience. Being able to deal with the UFC for the first time and a lot of those guys, it's amazing. They're just wonderful, fantastic people on that side. I
Mm-hmm.
will say that. Not getting to fight, that took a lot out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I would liken it to when you if you were playing football during the COVID years, like I was. That was my first season, and we did
Mm-hmm.
all this training and all this preparation. We got to game one, and then COVID shut it all down. So it was like feeling that all over again. So, but I had a lot of guys to uplift me and keep my spirits up to not let it completely
Mm-hmm.
tear me down,
Mm-hmm.
because it was something that a lot of people were looking forward to, including myself. But it was something I prepared for very heavily, mentally and physically. That it's like you don't you get stabbed, you get shafted, I guess you could call it. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
man, it left a bitter taste in my mouth for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you still going to use some of that animosity, that bitterness going into your fight here with Austin?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because that guy was Austin's teammate. And I told him,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get everything he should have got. And then some. And more.
That's awesome, my man. That's awesome. Obviously you're kind of coming in a bit of a dark horse. We haven't seen you. We don't know what your chin's like. We don't know what your strike is like. Do you have some tricks up your sleeve for Austin that he hasn't seen?
You know, my athletic mentality has never been I'm not gonna be a crafty guy or anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant is my favorite athlete sports of all time in any sport. I
Mm-hmm.
come in with the Mamba mentality. It's gonna be me and you. One of us leaves, the other doesn't. Plain and
Yeah, yeah.
simple. If it's not me, then it wasn't my time. But I'm coming preparing for it to be me in every sense of the word, from head to toe, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. I am coming to
Mm-hmm.
tear you down.
Yeah. Boy. I mean, last time we talked, you dropped the really infamous line. And I'm probably going to butcher it in regards to saying it, but you said that you were built for this sport. You had a wide head, a big jaw, big hands, long arms. You didn't really know where, growing up, you didn't really have one specific sport that you kind of fit into, but you feel like you have the frame and, the melon.
Definitely.
to be able to compete here in Power Slap. Do you still think that is going to be one of your key advantages? Is that genetic makeup and the way you're put together?
100%. And I never, it was always like, I would put it this way. If you were, say, a really good soccer player or maybe a really good basketball player, but for some reason you ended up on a football team, and it's like that, your skills will translate to what you're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
you can tell on the inside if you were like, like maybe there's more I can be doing. I'm not living up to my full potential. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just not fitting who I am as a person physically or, emotionally or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But then I started to realize that there is everything I did led up to this. It didn't lead up. I did track. It didn't lead up to me being an Olympic gold medalist. When I was playing football, I'm not in the NFL. I'm not at a D1 school or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I did prepared me for this.
Totally.
Throwing, the motions, the learning, the training, baseball, all of that I did, wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
it prepared me for combat in this instance. And I'm combining it all to make sure that it, you know, it works. It
Mm-hmm.
it meshes.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a three-part question here. So, how much did you weigh during your track year versus your football year, and where are you sitting weight-wise right now?
That one's going to be a little bit hard to believe for you because you've seen me in person. But
Yeah.
when I started track, high school was different. I weighed a lot less. I was a little bit smaller frame. I never worked out in high school. I only did
Mm-hmm.
sports. I never only did the sport. I was AI. I was Allen Iverson. Like
Yeah.
practice? You talking about practice?
Yeah.
That was me. But when I got to college, I gained a whole lot of weight. I was coming in at about 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot, 400 pounds was what I came in at as my freshman year. And then I stayed around 380 or so because I was throwing. It didn't matter. The coach
Oh,
didn't
okay.
really
Okay.
care as long as I could
Yeah.
compete.
Yeah.
When I got to football, that's when my coach was like, "You need to lose some weight, dog." I was
Yeah.
like, "Well,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much weight do I need to lose to really be able to play?" I was at 390. He told me I need to get down to 315. By the end of that football season, that got cut short after the first game, I was down to 290. At that point, I just kept cutting and cutting and cutting. I had already lost 110 pounds. Now I'm at 155 pounds lost since I started my weight loss journey. Down
Amazing,
to
man.
260. Well, 258 now.
Okay, okay, amazing, man. That's incredible. Interesting that they wanted you to drop that amount of weight. I'm assuming you were playing lineman either on the defense or the offensive side, but they didn't want a 390-pound offensive lineman to protect the blind side.
Well, the thing is, the way that they put it
Yeah.
was if you're going to be 390 pounds, you got to be like 6'8", and I'm not that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I was able to move, and I was always
Yeah.
fast and quicker for my size, but I had
Yeah.
to cut down some. It made sense. I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
mad about it. Plus, the guys we had on that team, one of them is in a rookie mini camp right now for the Ravens. Like the guys we had on that team were crazy
Hmm.
good. So it was like I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
compete.
Totally. Totally. Interesting. I mean, obviously seeing that weight cut is going to help you, here today. You're under the weight now, we're just, less than a week away. So you feel good about it. You're able to make that 265. No problem.
No problem at all. That's if Power Slap never called me, I probably would be at 190 right now. Like I was rolling through it, but when they asked me how
Crazy.
much I weighed, I was a little bit heavier on the side, eating and stuff. I was
Hmm.
in a lazy
Hmm.
point at that point. So I was around 275-ish when they first called me. So
Hmm.
I was on my way back down. I knew how to make the weight go. And now I
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
help of so many guys who have been doing this forever. So it's not a
Totally.
problem for me at all.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Nice, my man. Well, let's talk about Austin Turpin here a little bit. What did you see in his game from his match of what he's going to bring come next Wednesday, May 24th?
Well, I'll tell you one thing is for sure, and I'm not the type. I came up in sports where you don't argue with the refs, so I'm not the type
Hmm.
to contest the refs decision. I mean, it is what it is. Mamba mentality. It is what it is. You win or you don't. But I will
Hmm.
say this. I mean, his best strike of the entire fight was a complete foul. His
Hmm.
other strikes weren't really that crazy. Like, I mean, when you're in the heavyweights, you got to be able to deliver your power, but you got to be accurate and you have to adhere to the rules. The big guys can't get up there and do all the crazy stuff that maybe some of the lower weights are doing where they get away with some things and they can pivot and do certain things. You're too big to be doing that. Do it the right way and you'll succeed. I haven't seen anything the right way from him. I haven't. If he's been practicing that, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Great for him. It won't matter if he has, but if he hasn't, it's just going to go the same way it did the last time for him, except he's not going to get away with it because you don't get
Mm-hmm.
away with stepping and smacking him in the neck and clubbing and all that for long. I mean, he got slapped one time and then he didn't even, Michael Bisping called it out. It's like he doesn't even look like he knows where he is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So all his technique and skills go out the window after he gets hit. So if he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
deliver it the right way on his first slap, it's over for him.
Are you worried at all about your opponent fouling you and potentially, in an unfair way, affecting the outcome of the fight, either positive or negatively?
I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, it is like I said, it is what it is. I'm not worried
Mm-hmm.
what he's coming to do. I have a certain level of respect for anyone that's going to compete or come in a combat with me. So he
Mm-hmm.
has that level of me recognizing that he's not a chihuahua walking up there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
however much he weighs, wherever he is, he's a man. He's a grown man. So there's that. But I'm not worried about anything that he might mess up on or do because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna work out in my favor whether or not he fouls or not because this is what I prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that will go.
Do you ever you think he's ever been hit as hard as you are going to hit him?
I can guarantee you that he hasn't. With everything in me, I can guarantee you he has not been hit as hard as I'm gonna hit. When we were in that practice, Frank jaw dropped. Erica jaw dropped. Coach jaw dropped. Cody, the guy that fought against him, was like, "Dang, bro!" Like
Mm-hmm.
and it's only gotten better from there. They know what I'm working with to some extent, but no one other than my brothers and my family have seen this kind of power, and they know what I'm coming with.
Awesome, my man. The confidence is high. You've got your striking down, it seems.
Definitely.
The defensive side of it, in regards to taking a slap, what experience have you drawn from either, wrestling, football, anything in your work, work related, career wise, that's going to prepare you to take those strikes that we've seen Austin delivering?
One thing I will say is I grew up in the jungle, man. I grew up in a jungle. We came up slap boxing in between first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and at lunch and at recess or whatever, after school. We grew up doing this.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing new to me. And on the other side, there are definitely times where I've had to face some adversity in my sports. Like I was playing semi-pro football, couldn't afford a helmet and pads, but I wanted to play. Everybody else had a helmet and pads, and they're telling me I can't because I don't have my stuff. And I'm like, no, let me out there. I can do it. I can take it. I can handle it. Going
Mm-hmm.
head to head with these guys, ramming into these guys, tackling these guys, putting them down, completely unshielded and unpadded. So I've been used to getting jarred around, roughed up, and getting hit because it's nothing new, especially in the trenches. If you play football, O line, D line, without pads and helmets, that's close to rugby, pretty much.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Next Wednesday, like we said, May 24th, Rumble. How does the perfect match for you unfold?
The perfect match for me will, I'll say this. I give all glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he will be there with me. The perfect match is any match where he accompanies me because I know that he brought me here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, he gets the first slap. Austin gets the first slap. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like for him, but it doesn't seem like his mind is all the way there like the true power slap fighters are. So he's going to come with whatever he comes with. After that, he's going down. You get one chance to put me down. After that, there will be no more chances.
There we go. So we're predicting a first round knockout by high speed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, my man. Where can people follow you? Follow your journey going into Power Slap. They can watch you there in Vegas getting ready. I'm sure you're going to be on social. I'm sure you're going to be making it loud. where can they follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Bryan underscore high speed, all one word for high speed. Follow me on TikTok at OG underscore headbands, HEADBANNZ. That's probably going to be where you see a lot of the stuff, a lot of me and the guys training or working or doing whatever that, we'll show and put out there. Some stuff you keep secret, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely those two for sure is where you'll be able to see if
Cool.
anything for power slap or training, or when our boots touch the ground, that's where we'll be at.
Nice. One last question for you. What song are you walking out to?
That I'm glad you asked me that, because I actually changed it today. So, like I said, I want to give all thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So he gets the glory before me. The first thing that you will hear is a song that gives glory to his name. It's a song by Caleb Gordon, a very popular Christian rapper, and it's the lyrics, the letters are M. So it's called But if you've heard it, you've heard it. If you haven't, tune in, because it's a good one. It's a great one.
There we go, my man. Looking forward to it. We'll be there in Vegas. Slap News, as always. If you're watching this and you aren't following us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to get all the new content that we are putting out. If you have any questions for myself or for Bryan, leave us a comment in the comment section below, and we'll make sure you get it for it, because nobody's working as hard, working the beat as us here at Slap News. Appreciate you, man. Travel safe, and we'll see you there in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate you as always. See you soon.